Well, hello guys, welcome back. Loki drew an interesting parallel for me. Somebody asked for book suggestions. Long story short, in the years that I'd taken my eyes off them, the press that I suggested only because I remembered they made Loki books, had gone from 3 or 4, maybe 12 at most at the one point, results for Loki to hundreds of results. Most of them were the same couple authors spamming the results, like 20 or 30, 40 listings of their book. And I'm like, wow, this place has really gone downhill. Somebody's not watching anymore. And there was an interesting comparison that he drew that I found a TEDx talk about programming directed towards children on YouTube and how it's made to be addictive. I don't know that every person that does children's programming knows this, but there are certain channels that they found when they did studies. It's basically a dopamine hit for the kids, same as Facebook is for a lot of adults, same as coffee is for a lot of us. And when you take their dopamine hit away, they have a total meltdown, because he's talking about children too young to even surf and navigate. He's not talking about older children that they can develop a problem, but you can sit down and tell them about old man consequences. But he's talking about toddlers that, they can't even surf the internet. It's mommy or daddy or whomever programming the YouTube and handing it to the kid. And they get seriously addicted to this stuff, and they can watch it all day long. And if you try to take it away from them, or the video has to buffer, or God forbid, the power goes out, they throw a fit. I've seen children do it. And I'm like, what? What's going on? And I thought it was just children, being typical bratty kids, because they get bratty. Let's admit it. We were all brats when we were young. And it's literally a dopamine hit, and they're not getting their drug. And YouTube's conditioned them, and these videos condition them, that life should be a constant stream of this pleasant drug, this pleasant hit. And after a while, they're uncontrollable little monsters, because, they can never get enough. And I'm thinking, well, what are you going to do? And he didn't touch us. I'm like, what are you going to do when they're like 3 or 4 or whatever, and you have to send them to preschool, and they have to put that tablet down? You are going to have a nightmare on your hands, which I'm sure a lot of you adults are like, And what are you going to do when, they get older? If will they still have this addiction? And he was talking, about, he was more concerned with the fact that not only are these videos addictive, and they're teaching children that, these addictions are normal, but they were teaching children that it was okay to have stolen content, because most of these things, not just like unboxing channels, but a lot of them feed on stealing content from like other channels, like children's programming or whatever. That if you would do a search result for any children's program, you would find hundreds, if not thousands, of channels that have that content. And they get away with it because YouTube just doesn't have the time to deal with them. And the weird thing is, YouTube suggests them. YouTube will suggest stolen content to you. My main page, a lot of it's stolen content, and I will notice that there are a lot of people copying other channels. Everybody gets scalped. That's what it's called. I got scalped, so at least once. So I don't know. He said it's not only teaching children that it's okay to watch anything from anywhere, and that children, the proper artist doesn't need credit, but, the addictiveness. But the main concern he had was that, if you stay on YouTube long enough and you watch videos on auto feed, I think that's how he said that the children's YouTube works. I have no idea. I don't have kids, but apparently it just keeps playing video after video after video. And YouTube, eventually you will come to the polar opposite of what you want. If you are playing Wiccan videos and you're going about your day, cleaning your house, listening to the videos, all of a sudden, Jesus Christ is your savior, put away your pentacle, comes blasting through your speakers, and you know it. So it's no surprise that as these kids are watching these videos, they go from wholesome, if mindless, activity to really Mondo Bizarro stuff that's never labeled like for adults. I didn't understand these channels when they showed up. The ones I mean: Pregnant Elsa, cartoon characters getting horribly mutilated, cartoon characters killing each other, stuff like that, is never labeled for adults. It's just, it's out there, and it has the catchphrases that they know the kids will end up on there. And they said, nobody knows who's making this stuff. Is it a robot? You know, because we have YouTube channels with bot hosts and everything. Is it, you know, people that want to do something to kids? They want to expose them to this. They like traumatizing kids, because apparently this stuff traumatizes kids. They're experiencing night terrors. They're having nightmares. They will not go to sleep. Da 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 da. And the easy response, especially for us adults with no kids, is like, whoa, that's bad parenting. You shouldn't let your kids on there. But you know how kids are. They'll find the one thing they're not supposed to have. And he said, you know, it's a serious problem that you have to address. And his solution was, you know, if your kids have not yet discovered YouTube, don't let them have it. Totally don't let them have it, because sooner or later, whether you watch them or not, they're going to end up being exposed to this stuff. And you know it. You know there's a lot of stuff on YouTube that could scar the mind of an adult forever, let alone kids. And I've noticed it's starting on, you know, to draw a parallel, it's starting on Steam and starting on other places too, where people are making stuff clearly for shock value. And Steam's actually letting it be put up. And I'm like, Steam's turned to pure garbage. Which is why I'm kind of glad I got out of having a video game channel when I did, because it's like pure garbage is getting the green light now. Like really insulting stuff meant to piss people off, like gays versus whatever, LGBT versus whatever. And it's like people with guns shooting each other, and it's clearly meant to piss you off and bait you into buying it so you can rant about it. And it's like, yeah, I'm not falling for that. So we're just going through a time now where we don't know who our content's being made by. Is it being made by an actual human being? Is it being made by a machine that really doesn't understand things, and that's why this content is so weird? Or is it being made by people that, you know, they have their own agenda and they haven't come out of the shadows yet to show us this agenda? Maybe they're waiting 10 years to see what happens with these kids. Maybe it's an experiment. Who knows? But it was an interesting parallel, and Loki's like, see how easily influenced people are? You know, the Marvel movie came out, and all of a sudden there's 9 billion listings on Loki at this publishing press that used to pride itself on not letting people make multiple listings and wanting integrity and wanting it to be something worthwhile reading. And now you don't know, are those books written by humans, or did a bot just go through the internet and tear a bunch of stuff down from other places and put it together? It's weird. We live in a time where we don't know where information is coming from, and I think that's what he wanted us to think about, and that's what Loki wanted me to think about. He's like, you don't know who put that information up. We don't know who's making these videos. We don't know how, you know, in the relatively short time since the book came out, where did this 20 plus pages of Loki books come from? Something or someone had to write all these books. So it's just, it's weird. You could say, yeah, it's a bunch of people rushing to ride the Loki tide, for example, with the books, and say they're trying to make their money while they can, which is why, like, anytime a Marvel movie comes out, you'll see stuff for Loki. You know, Thor, I don't think, and Odin, don't get the same treatment, but you're seeing it right now. And it could be that, but it could also be bots. It could be, you know, they're having machines automatically write this stuff. So it's something to think about. If you at least know the author was human, you can take comfort in the fact that it's just their point of view. Just like this channel is my point of view. It doesn't mean I'm right. Doesn't mean I know everything. But it was interesting because, like I said, Loki did that thing yesterday about, I think for a while he wants to be the only god around here, and I'm like, fine, that's okay. Or at least the only god I'm working with. And then the thing came up with the books, and the thing came up with the programming, and I'm like, yeah, it feels like we're living in reality within a video game that was written by very bad programmers. Because it's just, it's surreal. It's surreal if you look at some of the stuff out there, because those channels are weird. And you have no idea who the target audience is, because you would hope children are not the target audience for Pregnant Elsa or for cartoon characters doing adult activities, because that's clearly nothing children are supposed to see. I saw a totally clueless vlogger or blogger from Japan talk about how children's cartoons have like all this stuff in it. And she was describing cartoons directed to dirty old adults, not children. I'm thinking, oh dear Lord, I hope she's not letting her children see that. So it's just, I think it's kind of like parents are kind of naive. They have to kind of learn, and all the other adults as well, to navigate this new world because you don't know what's out there. So it was interesting. And Loki's going somewhere with that. I think it's deeper than drawing parallels to you don't know who put the information out there, but it's also you don't know what somebody's agenda is. You may never know what their agenda is. I don't think we'll ever find out who made those channels, so it's nothing I lose sleep about, but it was an interesting thing because he was concerned of, you know, who in the right mind would make something that creates endless dopamine hits. It's a way to make money on YouTube, but at the same time, it's, if you understand what you're doing, if you're doing it willfully, then you're willfully creating little addicts. So, yeah, very strange. So, if you guys like what you see, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.